Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to just show you one way that you can make a piece for a ceramic totem, okay? And we're gonna do this using a slab method. So let's get started. Okay, so everyone's gonna start out with one slab of clay, okay? And then we are going to be putting these pieces eventually on something called rebar, which is just like, it's just like a metal pole, okay, that we can cement into the ground outside and then put our totem pieces on. So the first step is we're going to be taking paper towels and just an old dried up marker, okay, and rolling it up in paper and putting it in the very middle of our slab. And you can decide which side you want facing out. For me, it doesn't really matter. Both sides are pretty smooth, okay? And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna curl the slab around the marker. And your clay might wrinkle or crack a little bit, and you can smooth that out later, okay? So when you get this far, you need to score, slip, and seal these together. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add my score lines. Okay, then I'm gonna add some water, which is my slip. And now I'm going to seal them together. So I'm going to put score lines to score lines, slip to slip, and now I'm going to seal. And you know, you can seal using your hands. You can also seal using tools. Okay, so I'm just going to actually use a popsicle stick. Okay, after you've sealed it together, you're going to go ahead and you're going to put it upright. Okay, and this is where I'm going to have to kind of move my camera, I think, a little bit so you can see a little bit better of what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to put it upright. Might want to smooth out the top a little bit, make it a little bit more even. Okay, and now this is your opportunity to also smooth out some of those cracks that you don't like. Okay, so now I've got my totem, okay, piece, and I'm ready to turn it into whatever I want. Now, in class, we're going to talk about the Pacific Northwest Native American tribes, and we're going to look at pictures of their totems and all kinds of their designs and artwork and kind of figure out what their style looks like. Now, you don't have to make yours exactly like theirs, but this project is inspired by them. Okay, so we're gonna maybe use some of the same techniques and style, but you can make it all your own, okay? Okay, so I'm ready to create my piece. Now, I'm gonna show you one that I just made, okay? And this is a bird design. And I did it with the same kind of style as the Pacific Northwest Indians that were, or Indians, Native Americans, that's more politically correct, that we're going to be studying. So I made a clay beak, I scored, slipped, and sealed it on, and then I used a toothpick to create the designs around the beak, okay? So that's one that's finished. I did use tissue paper and a dried up marker. At the very end, we're gonna pull the markers out because they can't go in the kiln, okay, and just leave them as is. All right, so I'm gonna make a design here. You do need to score, slip, and seal at least one body part on, and the rest of it can be drawn out. So this time, maybe I'll make a snout instead of a beak, just so you can kind of see the difference, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and roll a ball of clay. Okay, actually that's maybe a little bit too much clay. Okay, roll a ball. And now I'm gonna kind of start shaping it into a snout like shape, or form I should say. Shape is 2-dimensional, form is 3-dimensional. Now, you can make yours look a little bit more realistic, or it can be kind of like a cartoon version. That's, you know, where you get to kind of put your own style and spin on things. Okay, so now I've got a snout-like shape, and I can, or form, and I can actually form it even more once I get it on my totem. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna score. Okay, and then I'm gonna score on my totem. Now I'm gonna slip, which is adding the water. Okay, that's the glue. Scoring is the Velcro, slip is the glue. Now, I'm putting on my snout, okay, and just so you know, the design is facing me, not you, while I'm doing this, so I'll turn it around when I'm done. And now I need to seal it on, and you know, you can use your fingers, or if you're noticing it's a little too wet, again, you can use like a stylus or a toothpick, or a popsicle stick. Okay, so now I have sealed it on there, okay, and I'm ready to draw more of my design. Now I want to actually kind of shape the nose and on the snout a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start using a stylus to do that. Now I've decided that I want this totem animal to represent a bear. Now again, it's not gonna be like realistic. We're inspired by the style of the Pacific Northwest Native Americans. So it is gonna look a little different. Okay, so I've got my nose, okay, and I just did that using a stylus. One thing that could also help you is just looking at a picture of a bear's nose to kind of help you get that form and the shape when you draw the nose onto the snout, okay? So now, again, I'm gonna be inspired by those designs on the totems in the Pacific Northwest, and that same kind of way that they draw and paint. And so I'm gonna use that to kind of help me figure out how I wanna go about drawing the eyes for this bear. I'm actually gonna draw some fangs because bears have sharp teeth. Okay. Now, when you look at some of the designs that the Pacific Northwest Native Americans made, sometimes you look at them and you're like, well, I didn't know that was supposed to be a frog. I didn't know that was supposed to be a wolf. I didn't know. And that's because they're stylized, okay? And that's actually kind of the beauty and the uniqueness of the designs, is that they're all very different and they do not need to be realistic. Okay, they use a lot of clean line and shape. They use a lot of black, white, red, and some green in their designs. And so, you know, you can do something similar, or you can do something a little different. Okay, so I've got my bear design, okay? Kind of looks like maybe it could be a wolf too, okay? And then I've got my bird design here, okay? So for this project, this is the process that we're going to follow in terms of creating this totem shape, and then going and creating whatever animal it is that you want for this totem. We're gonna talk about spirit animals, and how different animals can represent different things. That will help you probably make a decision for what animal you want to do for your design. All right, happy art making.